Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to have a drink, and we're going to talk about caregivers. Now, I've never been a caregiver, at least at the time of filming this video. It's something I've never done, at least not professionally. I took care of a gentleman who was a World War II veteran in my teens. I was very good at it, and I didn't have to get into the gross parts of caregiving, so that's probably why. But I just today had two interviews. One was for a security company where I would be working with the homeless, which is what I like doing. And the other one was for a caregiver, which I only applied for because the job came up. So when you bring yourself into that conversation, what is a caregiver? Someone who gives care, obviously. This does not take the cold. I am using up my supply of weird things I've reviewed. I've come to the point in my life where I have too much stuff sitting around my house. I need to use it all up. And I cannot get through this fake soda stuff without mixing it with alcohol. Also, I need to use up some of my alcohol. So, there's that. Anyway, so as a caregiver, it starts on sort of the light side of things where you're basically there to, look after them, okay? And, light cleaning, maybe take them to the store. They're an older person. You're something more of a companion or friend. And then it gets a little further to, like, you might have to help them do laundry or help them actually eat, help them use the restroom. There are flies in here still. Why are there flies in here? I don't know where they're coming. Oh, this is just terrible. It is not taking the cold, and it does not taste... I think it's flat. This has been sitting too long. Anyway, so, it goes all the way from you're basically a companion to you may need to help them get out of bed and use the restroom and clean themselves, all right? You may need to take off their dirty diaper and wash their pooped on sheets, and you have to do that with a certain level of care and bedside manner. And I mean, look, this is not an easy job, and it does not pay well. At least so far as I can tell. There are a lot of posts for caregiver. There are a lot of posts for mental health technicians as well, dealing with the autistic. And I mean, hats off to these people, because they've got to deal with some nasty stuff in life. But one of the basic things that came out of this is that I have to admit that if I had the option of doing it, I would not want to be a caregiver. Okay, but I want to be a caregiver more than I want to not be able to pay my bills. To give you an idea, okay, there is a company that advertises for YouTube. They are the most legitimate company. They are partnered and sanctioned by YouTube. These are the people you're supposed to use. You can pay them from $65 per week to $1,000 per week to promote your YouTube channel. Now, I didn't check, but the $65 is supposed to give you 2,500 or 2,800 views, something like that. And I think if I otherwise had a job, and it was a stable job, and I needed the money just for YouTube, this would represent between 3 and 4 hours of, caregiving. All right. So that's not a problem. I mean, you might get a really nice shift where you're there at night and you're just basically, it's an 8-hour shift, and there's somebody who, they wake up in the middle of the night, you may have to help them use the restroom, you may have to help them, clean themselves. It doesn't take that long, it's not that, you're paid for an 8-hour shift, but you're not really doing much other than sitting there. There are other situations where it's basically babysitting. You have to keep an eye on them. They watch TV or whatever it is, and maybe you get to read a book. So, there's that. But it's one of those situations that I have come across, is the fact that, if I had my druthers, if I had my way, what job would I actually have? Is I would be a YouTuber, or, I would probably be an author. That's where I want to be. I want to be writing. I enjoy writing. I love writing. I write all the time. I also read all the time. Fly on my freaking glass. Fly, go away. I'm gonna have to get some flypaper for this space. Anyway, so, that's what you have. You live in a world where there are problems, but when you ask, like, do you want to be a caregiver? No, but do I want to be a security guard? Which is what I've supported myself for more than 20 years is? No, I don't want to do that. I mean, I do it. It's one of those, like, I've worked at a homeless shelter, and if I had to do something in the security-related field, it would be work at a homeless shelter. Why? Because I find that work rewarding. I believe I'm making a difference. The homeless are a growing problem. This is the world we live in. All right? I mean, if it were not that, I would like to guard an abandoned building. You give me electricity and an abandoned building, and I am in heaven. I will sit there all day and work and not complain. All right? But, yeah. I mean, hats off to caregivers. But when they sit there and they ask me, what makes you want to be a caregiver? You can't give them the real answer, which is, look, I just want to pay my bills. Because then they'd be like, well, this guy's not gonna do the job properly. Which is BS. I do every job properly, but not that it's ever gotten me anywhere. Anyway, I'm Richard. Roar! Danger Ducky says, it would be unbearable if you don't comment, like, and subscribe.